Who let the dogs out? You'll understand in a few minutes what I'm talking about, okay? Talking about Isla. You know, this kind of goes along with this morning's sermon I preached in Psalms 143, and I'll be preaching on Psalms 59 tonight, and throughout the sermon I'll refer to it. No matter where we go, we find difficulties, and some people make life very, very difficult, don't they? They really do. I'm talking about the physical world. I'm also talking about the spiritual world. Wouldn't it be nice that if everybody got saved and everybody just was so nice to each other? I mean, that would be pretty much like heaven on earth, wouldn't it? If everybody was nice to each other. But that's not the case. I don't care where you go in the physical world, the spiritual world, there's always difficulties. Generally in the evening service, after the evening service, I go down to Liz's Thicket, my wife and I, we get supper. Don't have time to eat after the morning time because we only have 2 hours to get back for the Spanish church. And so we had to, I had a piece of pizza this morning, that's all I had. So when I get through, I go by Liz's Thicket, and I always wash my hands before I eat, even because the door handles that you touch, you never know what kind of germ that you come in contact with, so I always wash my hands. And when I walked into the restaurant last week, there was about 15 or 20 people there by the cash register, and I saw a lady up front talking to the cashier, and she was somewhat angry. But I went into the restroom to wash my hands. I came back out, and here I was right in the midst of about 15 or 20 people, and she was still there. And she was raising Cain. I mean, she had got fired up. And the guy at the cashier was so nice. He said, "Ma'am," he said, "I'm so sorry, but we've been so busy, and I'm sorry we have neglected you, and you feel like it's been too long for you to get your food." And he was so nice. But she started cursing. I've never heard such cursing since I've been in high school. I mean, some of the most foulest languages I ever heard in my life, right in front of all these here children, in front of these people. And I thought, my goodness. And here I was right in the midst of it, trying to go to my seat. And I stopped dead in my tracks. And he said, "If you don't stop that, I'm going to call the police." And she turned around to all of us and she said, "He's going to call the police on me." I said, "He should have, with all that foul mouth in your mouth." She cursed me and walked out. I tell you what, there's some bad people. You can find yourself right in a very difficult situation wherever you go. And I don't apologize. I think somebody should have said what I said, and so on. But I don't care where you go in the physical world, also in the spiritual world, there are people that are very difficult to deal with. Now, David had to deal with the people, and he referred to them as dogs. Now you know where I got my sermon title from, right? He referred to them as dogs. Now, we're all familiar with different kinds of signs in this nation of ours. We have beware signs of fog, beware of fog, beware of high voltage signs, beware of ice on the highway signs, beware of sharp curve signs, beware of construction on the highway signs. But the sign that gets the most of our attention is the sign that says, "Beware of dogs." Now, beware. Every mailman would tell you that he's beware of it. Every insurance man would tell you that. Paper boy would tell you that. UPS delivery would tell you that. The milkman would tell you that. They would tell you that when you see a sign that says "Beware of dogs," it means beware of dogs. Danger, danger. Now, Psalms 59 talks about who let the dogs out. The background for this here is found in 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 8 through 17. And this is a very interesting chapter. Now, the inspiration here is that King Saul hated and despised David so bad. He was so jealous of him, and that's the inspiration behind this here sermon tonight. Now, he was so jealous of David. After David killed Goliath, he was so popular, and everybody's talking about what a great man he is, what a great man he is. And here King Saul was being neglected, and he was so full of jealousy, he actually wanted him to be killed. He wanted to kill him. Tell you, jealousy is a terrible thing, isn't it? Psalms 19 says he actually had people at the gates in his house, watching over his house, so when he come out, that they would kill him. Yeah. Now, Saul had a son called Jonathan. And Jonathan and David was like this. Best of friends. Best of friends. And Jonathan went to his daddy, and he said in Psalms 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 6, and Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul sware, as the Lord liveth, he shall not be slain. So Jonathan said, Dad, don't you kill David. And Saul said, okay, he swore that he would not do this. But we find out in 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 11, he did just the opposite. It says, Saul also sent messengers unto David's house to watch him and to slay him in the morning. Now, you know what? He did just the opposite. Some people's word is not good, is it? People say, your word's your bond. I tell you what, it is our bond. And some people, their word is no good whatsoever. There are some people that will take a job in the church and they say, yeah, preacher, I'll do this and I'll do this. And they don't keep their word. They made a promise they'll do this. That's what they say with their mouth. I'll do this, and they didn't do this. There are some people that will go out and buy things on credit and not pay for it, and their word is not good. There are some people that say, preacher, I'll come to church Sunday. I'm looking forward to coming. And their word's no good. I believe when we get to heaven and we find out that most lies are told about people who say, I will come to church. I mean, everywhere I go, people say, preacher, I'm going to come, I'm going to come, I'm going to come. I don't pay any attention to it anymore. I've heard it so many times, I don't know what to believe. Some people's word is not good whatsoever, you see? Yeah, not good at all. Now, we can be thankful for the fact is, God is not like that. I like that. God's word is good. You can depend on it. You can trust it. When God says something, it's true, it's going to happen just the way he says. For example, we find in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5, God promised, I will never leave thee, forsake thee. You just got through singing about that. God said, I'll never leave you. God made me a promise. He will not leave me. He will not forsake me wherever I go. He said, I'll be with you, Odell. I'll take care of you. I'll be with you. Yeah. How about Genesis chapter 15, verse 1? God's promised protection. God said, I am thy shield. God said, promise, I'll protect you. You're my child. I'll protect you. Like a father protects his child. I'll protect you. How about the fact in Isaiah 41:10, God's power said, I will strengthen thee. I will strengthen thee. Now here lately I've had this here thing about the AFib, and I get so weak. I preached last Sunday. I asked Brother Frank to preach for me Sunday night last week, because when I got through, I could hardly make it to the back of the church. And I got in my truck, went home, went to sleep, and slept all night. I was so weak. I tell you, I appreciate strength now. and I have my strength. I said, oh man, I like that. And God said, I'll be your strength. I'll strengthen you. His promise, you see. Also, he made a promise of his provision. He said, I will help thee in Isaiah 41:10. I will help thee. And then he said in Matthew 11:28, he said, give me rest. Come unto me, all ye that labor and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That's God's promise. That's God's promise. Hey, God's promise also about cleansing. He said in 1 John 1:9, if we confess our sins, he's faithful and just to forgive us of our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. That's God's promise. When we come to Christ, he says, I'll cleanse you from all unrighteousness. I'll save you from the uttermost to the guttermost. I'll cleanse you from all our unrighteousness. Never, never will anybody stand before God and say, you made a promise and you broke your promise. God does not break his promise. He keeps his promise, you see. Yeah, he keeps his promise. Now, King Saul was so jealous of David. Some believe he was actually insane. I think so. A man that wanted to kill somebody, I think he's insane. Just because he's jealous. He was just insane. And David's getting all the attention, and he said, hey man, I'm going to kill this guy. He's getting all the limelight. He's getting all the attention, getting all the praise. I'm going to kill him. It makes me think of this little first grader that came home from proudly reported to her dad that recently joined the Girl Scout troop. And she said, now I'm a brownie. Her little brother, 3 years old, wasn't going to let her outdo him. And he came home from school one day and says, I'm a cupcake. There are some people that won't let you outdo them. They are jealous. They are jealous. And boy, King David, Saul, he was so jealous. He said, I'm going to set somebody at his gate, at his entrance of the house. When he comes out, I'm going to have him killed. He lied to his own son about this. Now, David refers to his enemies as dogs. Look in Isaiah chapter 56, verse 11. Isaiah says this, yea, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. Greedy dogs. Now, you got a little pet at home. Don't get mad. I know you love that little pet, Guyleen. But God here is referring to these old dogs that are greedy dogs going around. And they can't get enough. Can't get enough attention. They want to be praised, you see. Everybody's got these greedy dogs. Jesus had them. How about a guy called Judas? Paul had them. Paul talks about this here, Alexander the coppersmith, and he said he did me much harm. He refers to him. In Psalms 59, David here refers to his enemies as dogs. In Psalms 57, David described his enemies as lions, ravenous beasts, who were looking to devour him. In Psalms 58, David refers to his enemies as slimy snakes. Boy, David had some ideas about his enemies, didn't he? Yeah. Now, look here, let's talk about David's enemy, what he had to do with it. First, I want to show you David's petition here in verse 1 and 2. He said, oh my God, defend me from them that are up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity, and save me from bloody men. He knew they were after him. Save me from bloody men. They're trying to shed my blood. They're trying to kill me. You ever had somebody that hated you so much they wanted to kill you? That's pretty bad, isn't it? Yeah. Now, David referred to, in the past, his enemies as lions, as bears, as a giant 10 feet tall. But now, he didn't cry out for God's help in that way. But now he said, my enemies, there's so many of them, God, And he cried out to God, God, help me. God, help me. Now, we have trouble, difficulties. We turn to our loved ones. I miss my mother. I used to have problems, and I'd go to her. And she wasn't a great counselor. But just to hear her, she'd say, well, God will take care of you. She'd tell me every time, God will take care of you. And it meant so much to me. Sometimes we'll go to our friends. Many times I've had to go to my friends. I've been many times discouraged, and Brother Mickey would come by my office just at the nick of time and encourage me. That means a lot. It means a lot. Sometimes we have to turn to the courts of the land and say for legal help, we want some help. And sometimes we've got to turn to the police for help, you see. We face these difficulties, all of us do. And David's facing it, and he says now, oh my God. Now, David's not being sacrilegious when he says that. I hate this here advertisements on TV when they show these here new homes, and somebody walks in and sees the house, beautiful home that they've been given, and they'll cry, oh my God. That's sacrilegious. That's sacrilegious. We call upon God in worship. We use his name that way. He's Elohim. We don't abuse his name. It's an emotion. And some people not even saved, they'll look at something and say, oh my God, that's good, oh my God. It's a slang. Be careful how you use the name of God. Be respectful. Yeah, be respectful. You want people to respect your name, don't you? Now notice here, he acknowledged here, first of all, his agenda. He says here, help me, oh my God. Aren't you glad that we have a God that can help us? My God, I've got nobody to help me but you. I've got my friends can't help me. My neighbors can't help me. But Lord, you can. Oh my God, I'm so glad I got you. I'm so glad I got you. Now look at his agenda. He made some very specific things he wanted God to help him with. One reason that President Ronald Reagan goes down in history as a great president was because he had certain things he wanted to do while he was in office. There was many, many things he'd like to do. But he recognized we have to decide what's important in life. We only got so many months and so many years, and we have to decide what am I going to do with my life. And he narrowed it down to a few things, and that's the thing he concentrated on. And that's why he's considered to be a great president, because he was that way. Something every Christian needs to do is realize you're not going to live forever. You're not going to be around forever. You need to jot down, what can I do with my life while I am able to do it? Oh, there's a lot of things I'd love to do, Brother Ken. I can't do it. I'm too old. I can't do those things now. I've got to get my agenda straightened out. I've got to realize what I can do and cannot do. I'm not going to live forever, you see. He was very specific in what he wanted God to do with him. It's kind of like going to the ice cream shop. You've heard me say this before. When you go in there, you've got to decide what kind of ice cream you want. He said, well, I want some ice cream. Well, I know you didn't come to buy a lawnmower. What kind of ice cream do you want? You got to be specific. And we have to be specific when we talk to God. God, I can't do all the things I'd like to do, but these are the things I'd like to do in my life. I'd like to bring glory and honor to your life. Help me, God. He was very specific in the things he did. He had 3 specific things he wanted God to do. Defend me from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity. And save me from bloody men. That was his petition. Very, very specific. Now look here, we see David's petition. Look at David's perception. David knew who his friends were, but he also knew who his enemies were. That's important. That's important. He described his enemies as dogs, and he described how they lived their life, how they conducted their lives before him. And David said they were like dogs. Look in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 18 through 19. The Bible backs that up. I said to myself concerning the sons of men, God has surely tested them in order for them to see that they are but beasts. For the fate of the sons of men and the fate of beasts is the same. As one dies, so dies the other. Indeed, they have all the same breath, and there is no advantage of men over the beast, for all is vanity. Boy, God said they're like, mankind's like a beast. And David knew his friends were, but he knew that some of his enemies were like beasts, wanting to shed his blood. I don't like to watch this here story on wildlife, that sometimes where they have a lion chasing something down and hops on it and kills it and tears it apart. I don't like that. There are people like that. They're so brutal. They're so brutal. Yes, they are. And notice here, David here says, they're Solomon said they're like beasts also. There are some people like pigs. You ever see a pig? That's one filthy creature, isn't it? You can't make a mud hole bad enough for them. The worse it is, the better they like it. They'll put the head in slop, they'll get all up to the eyeballs. They're pigs. There are some people like that. Things can't get bad enough. They like evil. They like corruption. There's no good in them whatsoever. They're like pigs. Some men are like tomcats on the prowl Saturday night. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? They're like a bunch of tomcats. Some men are like slimy snakes. Slimy snakes. Yeah. And look here. God here, Paul refers to these here as beasts. Terrible beasts. Look in verse 4 and 3 and 5. For lo, they lie in wait for my soul. The mighty are gathered against me, not for transgression, not for anything I've done, O Lord. He said, I haven't done anything wrong. I don't know why they're like this, but they're like beasts. O Lord, they run and prepare themselves without my fault. Awake, help me. Behold, thou therefore, O Lord, God of hosts, the God of Israel, awake to visit the heathens. Be not merciful to any of the wicked transgressors. God says, God, I need your help. Oh, God, I need your help. God, awake. Deal with these people. Deal with these people. We see here David's petition, David's perception. Now look at David's pearl. Here we find in verse 6 and 7. God gives a description of the lost. They return at evening and they make a noise like a dog and go round about the city. Behold, they gulp up with their mouths. Swords are in their lips. But who say they do hear? Notice here. They're like a bunch of dogs that go around yapping, 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 yapping. You ever been awake at night time because a bunch of dogs were out howling at night time? You can't sleep. They were just barking and barking and barking and barking. You can't sleep. I found out the best way that you can get a dog to be quiet in the front yard is to put him in the backyard. And then the people in the backyard can hear it. Hey, David here says they just go around like a bunch of dogs here, and they yap at night time all night long. Now notice what he says here. They make noise like a dog and go around about the city. And he says here, and go around about the city, behold, they belch up out of their mouths swords are in their lips, but who say they do it here? Now notice here, he says they belch up. When you and I breathe, we take in air and it gets into our stomach. And when you and I eat, we take in air and it gets into our stomach, you see? That air. And then as it does this here, it stretches the stomach until it triggers a reflex, letting the air exit through the mouth. You ever hear anybody belch? I think about Sarah's sister. We can sit at the table, be eating, and somebody belches, you go, ah! It's only air in the stomach, and it fills and expands the stomach, and it triggers the stomach to release that air, belch out. And God said these people are so full of mischief, they're so full of evil, they belch it out. They belch it out. Yeah. You know, one day, I'd like to be in the shoes of Billy Graham, wouldn't you? When he stands before the Lord. I've been doing a lot of research on him. On Father's Day, we're going to have a very special thing about Billy Graham here. I hope you can be here. Man that preached one time to 1.6 million people at one time. A man that preached to more people on the face of the earth than any man's ever preached. A godly man. Yeah, I would like to be in his shoes one day. But I wouldn't like to be in the shoes of some people when they stand before God and give account. God, here we find that David describes these people. They just, nothing comes out of them good. Brother Field and I was talking this morning about dumpster diving. I'm going to tell you about Field. He goes down and do dumpster diving. You'd be surprised what he gets sometime out of those dumpsters. Then he has a yard sale and sells it. Dumpster diving. But these people right here, David said, man, there's no good. You can't find nothing in their mouth that's good. It's just a dumpster with nothing good in it. Talks about the lost. He also talks about the Lord. Look at verse 8 and 9. But thou, O Lord, shall laugh at them. Thou shalt have all the heathens in derision. Because of his strength will I wait upon the Lord. Wait upon thee, for God is my defense. I like this. We are attacked by the enemy. They mean to shed our blood. They mean to do us harm. And God says, David says, God, you just laugh at them. They're a bunch of idiots. Now think about this. Suppose you're walking and you step on the toe of an ant. And the ant you look down at him and he's mad as he can be. And he said, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. And you look at him and say, you nut, you crazy ant. And you laugh at him. David says, there's nothing, God. You just laugh at them. There's no one to match you. David talks about them, talks about God, and then talks about God's power. Look here. We put our trust in him in verse 9. Because of his strength will I wait upon thee, for God is my defense. You get it here? David always talks about his problems. And then he talks about how great God is. He talks about how great God is. He says, you just laugh at him. You just wipe the dust off your feet. You don't pay any attention to him. Sometimes that's what we have to do. We're being attacked. And the best thing we can do is say, God, you're my defense. And wipe the dust off our feet and say, God, you take care of it. And let God take care of it. Yeah. Now look at David's plan here. How wonderful God is. Look at David's protection, verse 10 and 15. The God of my mercy shall prevent me. God shall let me see my desire upon my enemies. Slay them not, lest my people forget to scatter them by thy power and bring them down. O Lord, our shield, for the sin of their mouth and the words of their lips, let them even be taken in their pride, and sin and lying which they speak. Consume them in wrath. Consume them that they may not let them know that God ruleth in Jacob unto the ends of the earth. And at evening let them return, and let them make a noise like a dog, and go round about the city, and let them wander upon the down for their meal, and grudge if they not satisfied. God, you take care of them. I'm so glad we have a God, don't you? As I was preaching this morning, we have problems. Some people think a preacher don't have problems. We all have problems. But we all have a God that can protect us and walk over sea. Look in verse 17. Unto thee, O my strength, will I sing, for God is my defense, and God, and the God of my mercy. We have a great God, a great deliverer. I'm so happy tonight for the book of Psalms. It tells us over and over and over again that God is our defense. God can help us with all of our problems. I was talking with Charlene and John last night at the rehabilitation place, and they have a serious problem. But God can help him. God can touch him. God can meet the needs. There's nothing too great for God. For God is a great God. Aren't you glad of that tonight? David talks about these people as dogs, lions, slippery snakes. But God is our defense. He'll take care of us, okay? Let's close in prayer this evening.